Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Today we are tackling something absolutely crucial, the economics of smart hiring, and specifically how better talent decisions literally reduce your business costs. We're going to take hiring out of that boring administrative task box and put it exactly where it belongs, front and center as a strategic business investment.
Okay, let's dive into this. What is your organization's absolute largest hidden expense? Now, if you're a CEO, a CTO, or maybe an HR leader listening to this, you might be thinking, oh, it's gotta be software licenses, or unused office space, or, just general operational waste. But actually, the reality is way more surprising. Think about it. Businesses willingly pour millions of dollars into flashy tech, massive marketing campaigns, and product development. But at the exact same time, they are quietly bleeding money in a completely unexpected place, and that is their hiring process. Recruitment, you see, is so much more than just putting a warm body in an empty seat. It eats up huge amounts of time, money, and intense management effort. And when that process is slow or clunky or just plain inaccurate, your organization ends up paying a substantially higher price than you'd probably ever realize.
To really get why this happens, we have to look at what we call the traditional recruitment bloat. Just think about how heavy and honestly exhausting this old school process is. Right, first you're blasting posts across a dozen job portals. Then comes the endless internal HR screening. Then you have to somehow coordinate tech interview panels with engineers who are already completely swamped. Add in manual resume reviews, juggling different vendors, and those super lengthy contract negotiations with agencies. Wow, every single one of these stages just chews up incredibly valuable business hours. It's a massive, massive drag on your company's momentum.
So the crucial point is this. The damage here goes way beyond just the HR department. Because while you're stuck in this agonizing waiting game trying to coordinate 3 different interview rounds, what happens to the actual business? Well, your critical projects stall out. Those highly anticipated product launches, they slow down, and your existing teams get heavily overloaded just trying to cover the gap. Basically, every single day a position sits vacant, the financial hit to your entire organization just keeps growing.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it perfectly shows the classic iceberg effect. Most companies, they only calculate their direct recruitment expenses. The stuff above the surface, like agency fees or job board subscriptions. But look at the hidden business costs lurking on the right side there. We're talking delayed product releases, totally tanked engineering productivity, project overruns, lost opportunities, not to mention customer dissatisfaction, soaring overtime costs, the sheer amount of management time blown on interviewing, and, worst of all, the brutal cost of having to replace a bad hire. These hidden below-the-surface expenses drastically outweigh the basic recruitment fees. All of this brings us to a really powerful realization. Hiring is not a cost. Poor hiring is. Let that sink in for a second. The smartest organizations have completely reframed how they look at this. They don't measure their hiring success just by how many agency fees they saved. No, they measure it by the true business impact they gained. Because hiring the right person at the exact right time creates immediate, very tangible business value. But of course, this shift in mindset means you gotta shift your operations too. Let's look at the old way versus the new way. Honestly, modern businesses just cannot afford to manage recruitment across a dozen disconnected systems anymore, constantly jumping between vendors, portals, and those completely messy email threads. It's a nightmare. The new way is all about a single, integrated hiring platform. It simplifies the whole shebang. Instead of juggling that fragmented mess, organizations can finally manage everything efficiently through one beautifully streamlined solution. And this is exactly where a platform like ExpertOnHire totally changes the game. Their whole approach is built on 4 core pillars. First up, AI-assisted talent matching. This makes sure you're looking at the right people right out of the gate. Second, you get access to verified technical experts. We're talking actual skills, not just a bunch of fancy buzzwords stuffed into a resume. Third is portfolio-based candidate evaluation, which literally lets you see what they can build in the real world. And fourth, structured technical assessments provide that practical skill validation. When you put all 4 together, it completely removes the guesswork, which massively drops both your hiring risk and your time to hire. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate advantage here: speed to value. When you use ExpertOnHire, instead of burning weeks endlessly searching, screening, and interviewing totally unsuitable candidates, you get technically validated professionals who are actually ready to contribute on day 1. Think about what that delivers. Faster shortlisting, way lower recruitment expenses, and you're not nearly as dependent on external agencies. Plus, better candidate quality means fewer replacement costs,
and that translates directly into skyrocketing engineering productivity and much, much faster project delivery. Let's move to and see how this builds into this incredible, continuous cycle of success. Seriously, every single smarter hiring decision creates this amazing positive business loop. Check it out. It starts with identifying a business need. Then, ExpertOnHire matches you with those verified technical experts. That leads to step 3, faster hiring and lower costs, which naturally seamlessly feeds into step 4, higher productivity and fast delivery. Once you're delivering faster, well, step 5 is a given, huge customer satisfaction. And finally, that brings us to step 6, overall business growth and a remarkably high return on your investment. That right there is the true economics of smart hiring in action.
So why does all this matter? Well, if you're a CEO, a founder, a CFO, or an HR leader, hiring influences absolutely everything you do. It's not some isolated HR silo. It directly impacts your revenue growth, your operational efficiency, and your product quality. It drives the whole customer experience. It fuels innovation, boosts employee productivity, and ultimately, it totally dictates your business profitability and long-term competitiveness. Literally every single hiring decision has to be evaluated as a bottom-line business investment. Look, the most successful organizations out there aren't always the ones with the absolute biggest, most bloated recruitment budgets. Not at all. They're simply the ones that hire smarter. Shrinking your direct recruitment costs, yeah, that's great. But eliminating those massive hidden costs of slow, inefficient hiring, that creates infinitely more value. ExpertOnHire essentially promises smooth hiring with no noise. They help companies completely transform recruitment from this painful, dragging chore into a razor-sharp strategic business advantage, saving you tons of time while building much stronger technical teams. Which brings us to one final, slightly provocative thought to reflect on as we wrap up this explainer. I want you to look at your own operations right now and ask yourself honestly, are you just hiring people to fill a seat, or are you truly investing in hiring that delivers measurable business value? Thank you so much for joining me to explore the economics of smart hiring. Take care of yourselves out there, and hey, make your next hire your best investment yet.